Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got one for you straight out of Ohio, where politics, bribery, and corporate corruption all blended together, which ended up with allegations, convictions, jail time, and even suicide. Right when we think that our politicians and our lobbyists have our backs, sometimes they don't, and they are committing bribery and corruption right under our nose for their own special interest. And when many of these top executives get caught, they don't want to do jail time, and many of them decide to take their own lives, which is something that is happening a lot in today's time. There is a fine line between life and death for many folks, and mental illness and stress and anxiety permeates throughout all of us each and every day, and how you handle it is a measure to your success as a person and the longevity of your life. So here we go. Former Ohio utility regulator charged in a sweeping bribery scheme has died. Now follow the story. It's a good business story and political story. Out of Columbus, Ohio, a former top utility regulator awaiting trial on charges that he took millions in bribes in conjunction with the largest corruption scandal in Ohio's history, died by suicide. A spokesperson for the Franklin County Coroner's Officer said. Sam Randazzo, 74, the one-time chair of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, faced the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison if convicted of the dozens of criminal charges he faced in simultaneous federal and state investigations. He had pleaded not guilty to all of them, most notably the allegation that he accepted a $4.2 million bribe from Akron-based First Energy Corporation in exchange for regulatory favors. This is the behind the scenes and in the darkness of where many deals are done that the general public and tax-paying citizens of America don't even know about. A spokesperson for the county coroner's office said Randazzo was found unresponsive at a building he owned in Columbus at just before noon. The U.S. Attorney's Office, Ohio Attorney General's Office, and the Office of Republican Governor Mike DeWine, who initially appointed Randazzo to the PUCO, all declined immediate comment. First Energy has admitted to using dark money groups to fund a $60 million bribery plot that allowed former Republican Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder to win the speakership, elect his allies, and pass and defend a $1 billion nuclear bailout bill, known as House Bill Number 6, for two of its affiliated nuclear plants. So he passed this bill for two of his affiliated nuclear plants. A jury convicted Householder and lobbyist Matt Borges last year on federal racketeering charges for their roles in the scheme. Householder was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Wow. Borges was sentenced to 5 years. Both have appealed. Randazzo resigned his regulatory post in November 2020 after FBI agents searched his Columbus townhouse, and First Energy revealed in security filings what it said were bribery payments of $4.3 million for his future help at the commission's a month at the commission a month before DeWine nominated him as Ohio's top utility regulator. He is the second person that was accused as part of the sweeping investigation to take his own life. Longtime State House lobbyist Neil Clark, one of the 5 people initially arrested in the probe in July 2020, died by suicide in March 2021 after pleading not guilty. The remaining 2 men, Juan Cespedes and Jeffrey Longstrength, pleaded guilty and are cooperating with the government in the ongoing inquiry. What an amazing and incredible story of the things that are taking place with our politicians, our lobbyists, and sometimes with corporate America. And this is dealing with utilities. So everybody has an electric bill. Some people have a gas bill. They wonder why those bills are so high. And you have this usurpitous corruption taking place in Ohio that can affect every Ohio citizen in the entire state, while these gentlemen are padding their pockets and making regulatory actions that may not be beneficial to the taxpaying citizens, but may be beneficial to themselves. And look at what this led to. One thing young people need to realize: when you make adult decisions, and if they're negative decisions or criminal decisions, then there is a price you have to pay. You're not a juvenile, you're an adult, and if you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, sometimes convictions and prison time go along with it. And you'll see many times in some of these stories with these top officials in corporate America and in politics who have been scheming for years. They finally get caught, and then they decide they don't want to go to jail, but they're willing to take their own life. And I think you'll hear some people say it's a cowardly move to take your own life. I think it's a pillar of strength and an ultimate decision. And many of these individuals, through mental illness, through stress and anxiety of life, feel they have no way out. I don't think that that's necessarily the answer. If you do something, there's choices and consequences to everything that we do, even as teenagers, young adults, and definitely as older adults. Sam Randazzo was 74 years old. I mean, how long is he going to pilferage from the system before getting caught and or retiring? And all of this is at the mercy of our taxpayers. Remember, Sam Randazzo was the chair of the Public Utilities Commission, the commission of the entire state. You also had Republican House Speaker Larry Householder, who got convicted for these crimes. You have lobbyist Matt Borges. So the lobbyist is in cahoots with the Republican House Speaker, with the chair of the Public Utilities Commission, Sam Randazzo, 74. They all get caught, and the end result is prison time. And then 2 of these individuals, Sam Randazzo and longtime state house lobbyist Neil Clark, decide to take their own lives. This is an unfortunate commentary and a story about egregiousness, greediness, taking their power and exuding it for their own personal gains. And they finally get caught, and a couple of them are going to jail, and then we've had at least 2 of them that decided to take their own lives. Mental illness is a real thing. Greediness, narcissism, stress, anxiety, in this story are all illustrations of these individuals using their energy in the wrong direction. They get caught, and then look at what the circumstances and the conclusion to this scenario ended up. A couple of people in jail, and at least 2 of these individuals that committed suicide. So this should be a storyline about always trying to do the right thing, stand completely away from the wrong thing. There are choices and consequences that take place each and every day. There's a right and left, a black and white, a yin and yang, And we need to be a canvas of individuals that are trying to do the right thing, trying to live our lives in an orderly fashion, represent your family, your community, the corporation you work for in a positive light. And here's another illustration where politicians and lobbyists have taken advantage of their power and tried to pad their pockets and got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And look at what the end result was: prison time and suicide by a few of these individuals. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way. And this is a story about Ohio utility regulators who got caught with their hand in the cookie jar in a scheme that had been taking place for years, and subsequently it did not end well.